start recording. Okay, so I'm... Ooh, my amplifier's running away on me here. Hold on a second. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. That was scary. I just saw a number come up that I haven't seen before. Okay, so I am recording now, and if you want to give some audio, now would be a really good time for you to hear it.
Okay, very good. One thing is I am getting over a cold. The VE7WNK. This is Victor Alpha 7 kilowatt junkie. That's my new phonetics because I've been running a kilowatt here for the most part. So I changed the phonetics to a kilowatt junkie, or Ken VA7IR would say collecting junk. And if he's listening right now, he might even step in and say something. Hi, VA7KJ.
I guess not, because he wouldn't miss an opportunity to say as much. Hi. Yeah, my for some reason my amp is producing more. Oh no, it's not producing more gain. My radio. Hello. That's wild. I have it at 17%, and it is producing more than 20 watts. So I got to figure out what's going on with that. I'm using a new feature on this radio. It's digital pre-distortion, and it's to help me have cleaner audio either side of my envelope, I guess, the sideband envelope. So like there's some folks where when they're on the air, they produce an upper sideband signal on lower sideband that I can hear in upper side. If I was to go to this frequency upper side, I'd be able to hear them, and then they squirrel away way off into the next guy's frequency. So that plus there's another feature. There's an intermodulation whatever called IP plus on this particular radio, the 7610, which is to prevent that kind of stuff. So I've got two different features that I'm using to try and keep my signal nice and tight and not squirrely, which is why I'm also trying to run a little less power, is so that those sidebands are very much less present in the old fish finder there, the waterfall view. Over.
Yeah, okay, very good. Well, that's absolutely cool. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I had to let go of the PTT, but like I say, I've been getting over a cold here, and usually I run box, but tonight, just in case I gotta let her rip, I running the finger switch here. So yeah, it's that's absolutely cool. You know. I was looking to upgrade either to a 7700 or a 7610. They got this. What's the next one out there now? Isn't it a 7620 or something now, or 7630?
Oh, they made it even more confusing. 7760, and it's a 200 watt remote head. It's this radio, but 200 watts, and it's got a little extra screen on it. They take away the number pad and a few things, and it basically puts the AF scope, or the audio scope. This will make more sense when you watch the video, but there's basically a waterfall where you can see your audio or your received audio, so your transmit or your received, and they now put it in its own little window so that anybody that wants to tweak and tune their filter settings for receive, or wants to see their transmit envelope, they now have a dedicated window for it. I am getting really concerned about there's times where my amplifier is putting out more than 1500, and it's not desirable. Hello, peak. Yeah, there we go. It's a bit better. But so far on this transmission, I've made it up to over 1700. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's just drop the RF power back down. I just kind of let this thing loaf right around a kilowatt or a little over. My grid current is sitting Hello. Gosh, it's barely moving up about 50 mils of grid current, and the plate is somewhere's about 320, something like that. Oh, I can make it. If I holler into it, it'll go over 400 mils of plate current, but I just kind of let it just idle along, and if I can't make it with 1,000 watts, I think there's something wrong.
I would agree with that. So 50 mils of grid current, that must be a 3-500 amp?
Yeah, it's got two 3-500s in it, and it's got a humongous power supply. That's one thing about this thing here is it takes pretty near 3 men and a small baby to lift it up on the bench. It's heavy.
So after you put it on the bench, you got to tuck your hernia back in?
Yeah, you gotta make sure you wear your belt for sure. It's built really very, very well. Believe it or not, for testing purposes, after I rebuilt the power supply, recapped it here, because it had basically been sitting for 15 years, and I wanted to upgrade the cap bank, and anyway, I converted it over to 110 because I don't have 220 up here, and right now I'm just blown away on how efficient it is here running at 110. I can push it up to 1400 volts or 1400 watts this thing, but I don't like the plate and the grid current up that high to get it to that point with 110 volts. So let's see, what's my high voltage here now? I'm just trying to look here. Yeah, right now I only got 1400 volts on the high voltage, so that's running at 110. So I think things are probably going to get a whole lot more efficient when I get my 220 line up here.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you'll probably notice less stress on components as well. That was my favorite thing about running 220. My old amp and my new amp, I made sure that they both had the exact same power connector, just the standard 220 15 amp per side. It's I guess it would be a 30 amp connector. But it's listed as 15 because it's phase to phase rated. So take of that what you will. No, I guess it would be 30 amp rated. Anyway, I got to double check that, or maybe 20. I don't know. I need to double check that. It's one of the IEC standards on the back of the on the back of the amplifier. So I went and picked up one of these RFKIT units, these German ones, and absolutely love it. The preamp that I'm using also has a bit of a noise gate, so I'm just watching it as it collapses there. Yours is working very well. I can tell the difference between when you unkey and when you stop talking, or like when you let it kick in. Just because there is a little bit of audio that gets left in it between the W2IHY box and the radio, but I guarantee if somebody was not hollering distance away from you like I am, they would 100% not hear it. So it is working immaculately for you.
Yeah, I could probably set it up here. The delay would be hello 1 2. Yeah, there's a delay totally gone out of it. There, I can set the level. I'm just putting it on the threshold right there. There, you probably can't detect anything on syllables there now.
No, it's it's fairly well dialed in. Like you're right. I'm not detecting much of a. Sometimes you get that like pumping effect that some of these noise gates can add, some of these compressors, but it's definitely not doing any wrong for you. Speaking of wrong, I'd love to know why this amplifier keeps going up into like the 1700 watts. I think that's where it wants to run for some reason, and I've turned my power down now to 13%. So that is that's getting a little frustrating that it's so inconsistent on the power in versus power out. The gain of this amplifier, because it's running a pair of these BLF189 LD MOS transformer, or transistors rather, is pretty touchy, and it's actually got an what do you call that, to dampen it, attenuator on the front end. It's like a 13 dB pad, so it takes my wattage, drops it down, turns that into heat, and what's left is what it amplifies. Over.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was assuming here. I was listening to your 220. So this is a new amp.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the 220 is it's still here. It's on standby, we'll call it, and I'm trying out my new amp.
Yeah, it's sounding pretty good. When you were playing around there too, just key up without saying anything. I detected a hum. Oh yeah, S9 of hum. I have Lauren was detecting that same thing on my signal too with my amplifier, but I think it was some cabling here. Maybe if you could just unplug your mic from the rig and just hit the transmit button on the transceiver to see whether it's getting in the audio line.
Yeah, it would be coming in the back. So I feed my audio into the back of the radio through like where you'd plug in like an RTCY unit or something akin to that. I don't use the front mic slot unless I'm using my mic boom headset. Like if I'm contesting or doing a net or something.
Oh, okay, you're going in through the 13-pin DIN.
Yeah, exactly. Or I think it's like 7 or 8 pin, but yep, I go through there.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's pretty hard to disable it.
Hey, you're running a 7600 now, right?
Roger.
I have a board that I built for a bunch of the features. It's I custom designed it, and because I've switched to the 7610, I don't really have any use for it anymore. So next time I see you, I'm going to hand that over to you, and you can hook it into that accessory jack on yours. It would actually allow you, if you wanted to feed your audio through the back as well. So when you do yours, you have the W2IHY box going into the mic preamp slot?
Yes, into the front jack at the front for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's one thing I miss out on with mine is the ability to use any of the, so if I use the mic connector, I can then use a little bit of very simple EQ in this radio. So that is a benefit. Plus I can also use the compressor, like the, if you're going to call some distant DX on 20 meters or something. If I use my external audio source, I have no way to easily do that. So then I have to switch back to the headset on the front port and that kind of stuff. So I quite rarely use this port the way I'm doing it right now with the PR40. Mostly because when I QSO typically, it's almost exclusively on 40. And for whatever reason, I get so much RFI on 40. Even if I'm just into a dummy load here in the shack. So I got to figure out why there's some kind of resonance at 40 meters. No other frequency does it. It's just on 40.
Oh, Yeah, I got things happening here too on 80 here. Nothing serious. Doesn't happen on any other band. I have a security light just outside of my deck here, pointing towards the back part of my circle driveway. On 80 meters, whether I'm running the amplifier or not, I'm always keying that security light. It doesn't happen on any other band.
One of those HID style lights that is like a motion activated unit?
Yes, motion activated, yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I've had all kinds of experiences with messing with stuff with RF, and they're hard to tackle. We had an issue with the ICOM PW1 at BCIT setting off the fire alarm.
Oh, that's almost too funny. Almost too funny. I could make the. I gotta hang up my Christmas lights here. I have several hundred Christmas lights here that I hang up here, and I have been blessed with maybe because there weren't cheap Christmas lights, LEDs. I run them up the tower and down my hedge and all over the place here. I'm a Christmas light junkie. And I can make the ones on the tower blink. So the diodes actually, for lack of a better term, rectify RF at those frequencies? Yeah, it's quite amazing. I have a whole raft of those T8 bulbs, fluorescent bulbs. I should probably hang some on my dipole.
So down in Coquitlam, we used to do that with. It was like a neon strip. Like it was like this thin, oh boy, probably smaller than quarter-inch, just like almost cloudy colored strip, and it was designed for floor lighting, like you would put in your home theater or in a real theater or in an airplane, and it would modulate with signal if it was in parallel.
Okay, that was some of that. That was almost like strip lighting, eh?
Exactly. Like it was. I guess it probably behaved as one big long neon filament. Like you couldn't cut it, but it was probably 50 feet long, and we had it right on, like sitting right on a quarter wave vertical on 80, and when we would key up, because we used it for a few different bands with a tuner, it would glow with it. It was actually really cool. That sounds absolutely neat. Absolutely neat. Hey, with your 7610 or 7600, did you use the CID application? Did you ever run it through your computer at all, any one of your rigs? Yep. I run CIV for as much as I can. Like with N1MM or WFU or HRD or any of those software packages, I would always run CIV right direct out of the back of the rig. Okay, and I can't remember. With these rigs, you got to run that separate ICOM CIV box, or can you run it directly into it? So you don't need to use the remote port on the back. You can get it directly from USB. When you plug it in, it should show up as a virtual COM port or whatever, and you just check to see what your settings are for the what do you call that? Bit rate, baud rate. There's the hard word, baud rate. And you just match your software with it, and it works, tickety-boo. Absolutely cool. I haven't played around with PC for so long here now. I'm almost PC illiterate. The only thing I operate is my iPhone and my iPad. I got something fairly current
laptop underneath the table here someplace. I don't even know what it is. It's a Toshiba something. It's probably only about 5 years old. And I should get you to help me with some configuration sometime when you feel like it and you got some time.
Yeah, you bet. We can do that. And what do you got in mind? Like, are you looking to do like digital mode stuff, or just remote control, or is there a particular thing you want to accomplish?
Yeah, even some remote control. Throw the display up on top of I got a big screen bolted to the wall here, and get something happening as far as even the waterfall up on the big screen.
Well, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, that would be really cool. The 7600 has a modification that you can do where you can tap the IF that goes to the scope, and you can put a little power adapter or a power splitter, basically a 3 dB splitter, in the middle there, and you can feed that out to an SDR. It works really well. I used that for a while. In fact, that was one of my favorite features, and that's why I finally talked myself into getting the 7610, because it does that automatically. Like, I have a full waterfall view, which I'll add into the video here, which shows me a big swath of spectrum, and that's what I was able to do with an external SDR. So you should, check it out. It's I forget who wrote up the article, but the parts are fairly easy to find.
Oh, absolutely cool. Absolutely cool. That's one thing about the 7610. It's like the waterfall is all in real time. I guess with the 7600 here, it's the scan rate is pretty slow compared to the 7610.
Oh yeah. The 7610 is like it's a true SDR, right? So it's you basically can pull a full I and Q feed directly out of the back, and then your computer does all the processing and draws the waterfall. So what I just did is I just put onto my screen, I zoomed out and showed, and you'll see this in the video, and showed the full SDR waterfall.
Oh, absolutely cool. Absolutely cool. One thing I found that I didn't like about this spectrum scope, it doesn't cover the full 10-meter band. You run out of scope there somewhere around 28,550, something like that. It just goes into the dumb mode and said you're out of band.
Yeah, that the following that it does, I found that a little irritating, because you can only see 500 kilohertz at a time, and because 10 meters is like, I don't know, 1.7 kilohertz or whatever, or not kilohertz, sorry, megahertz, 1.6 megahertz, and you can only see 500 kilohertz at a time. It's just not enough. Like it doesn't give you the full view. I'd like to be able to see what's happening up in the FM portion, for instance.
I would like to see what's happening across every band that you can receive on this on general coverage. That would be handy.
Yeah, and that's if you want that, you have to start getting into the Flex series of radios, and oh my goodness, are those amazing. You watch, I saw a guy do a time lapse with one of those of a contest, and you could tell when his part of the world was lit and when it was unlit. You could tell contest start and contest end. It was just unbelievable seeing DC to daylight in about 5 slices of band. 160, 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10. So yeah, I guess 6 slices. And it was, it just blew me away.
Oh yeah, that'd be fantastic. Well, I suppose some of these SDR receivers that cover from DC to daylight, they have, their spectrum scope basically covers the whole works, does it, or doesn't it?
Yep. Some of them do that. Like I have an SDR here that can do 10 megahertz at a time. Well, with 10 megahertz, I just need 3 of them, and I could cover every single ham band, every single HF band. So it really depends what you're looking for when you're looking for some of the SDRs. I probably would go and recommend one of the Flex radios, but I've got 2 things that are holding me back. One, you need a pretty powerful computer for it, and my Shack computer can barely handle screen recording. It's pretty much maxed out. The second thing is that you need basically you need a bucket of money. They're not cheap. They're quite expensive. Worth it, definitely worth it, but just not something I'm willing to spend for something where I can basically get the exact same thing from an appliance. Plus, I actually like having the buttons and the dials. Often when I'm moving around the dial, I'll just kind of like sit there and just kind of spin and feel it and listen with my eyes closed to try and find a signal. Because I find that if I'm using the spectrum scope, I can be misled a little bit. So having an actual physical dial is nice. A guy could easily build one with a rotary encoder and a computer mouse, for instance, but I keep hitting this microphone. But whatever. To each their own.
It sounds like fun. Oh gosh. Hey, that's what I was going to ask you. What about? Have you looked into Hermes or another one? I think it's the baby to that one. You probably know it.
The Hermes Lite or the ELAD or any of those SDR packages? Yeah,
they. I don't imagine they can do what the Flex can.
Yeah, they most of them can. Where the Flex shines is in what they call slices, where you can have multiple receivers. You could have like 10 receivers depending on which version of the Flex you get. You could have 10 receivers if you wanted to, maybe you were doing a contest and you wanted to be able to watch for, an opening, or you wanted to be able to do some spotting. That's kind of where the Flex comes to shine. Where they are now, they're really running out of compelling additions to get you into the next model, right? So the smaller rigs like the Hermes or it starts with an L. ELAD makes them, or something like that. There's a bunch of them, and they're quite popular, but there's no reason to go for the Flex other than to literally flex and say, I have a Flex.
Oh, yeah. That's the other one that I was thinking about. Maybe it's the granddaddy of Hermes, the Anon.
Yeah, and so if you ever watch on Wednesdays, if you watch Rolly VA7RA hosting from VE7 Sierra Charlie, that's what he's on. That, and actually the same amp that I'm on.
Okay, very good. He's running that from the boat.
Yes, sir. Yep. Ian has everything all dialed in back in Coquitlam, and Rolly remotely controls it from his vessel. I'm sure you've probably stumbled across that YouTube video.
Actually, I haven't gone on to his YouTube channel since he moved out to the boat. I stumbled onto the YouTube channel there when he went to the club station there and panned around the room, and him operating right at the club station. It was pretty impressive.
Yep, that's one of the things I miss is operating from V7 SEC. That was always one of my favorite things to do, was to contest from there, because we had the 3 monster towers. Those towers were basically finished as I was leaving. But I did get to use them after one of the first pours, and I've gone down for a few events since, but it's just not as open as it used to be with membership kind of falling. And anyway, great location, amazing location for doing like multi or any kind of serious DX type activity.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, sounds cool, Bob. We'll have to get together for a Java and a visit and blah blah blah, rather than just be like a couple of ships in the night passing one another in one of the stores or one another.
Indeed. I need to get better at getting on air even. I haven't really been super social because I haven't really been on air much. I've been trying to do the Sunday morning coffees with the guys, and those are fairly well attended. We've got sort of the usual suspects that arrive, and occasionally we'll get one or two more. We've got so many amazing new hams in this town, like with Jeff and Chris and the 400 mics that we have. It's been really cool seeing kind of the increase in energy. Everybody that we have, we've got at least multiple people by that name, right? Like we've got a bunch of Mikes, a bunch of Troys, a bunch of Kens. We just need to get better at bringing them all on air. I know Bruce has been drumming up a lot of interest with some of the stuff that he's been working on. Like Bruce put another Echolink on the air in town. So now we've got two of them, and he's been connecting it to a 10-meter repeater. I will admit, I actually haven't even gone to the frequency yet. He messaged it to me. I'll have to find it, but so yeah, there's that, and then what else is going? Oh, we've got the All-Star Link on the 9.7 machine. Dragon's been running really well. Milburn's having some issues, but that has to do with some UHF problems. Fishpot is running like a hot damn. Two Sisters is having some descents issues, but all in all, like, we are absolutely saturated for choice for things to do when it comes to ham radio in this town. Over. Oh,
that's for sure. That's one thing about amateur radio. So many different facets of it. There's something there for everybody. And if you get bored with one thing, you just go on to something else and, come back to whatever you started with in the beginning and do a great big circle again. 147-100 with a 67 hertz tone. And yeah, they've been linking that through Echolink back to VE7WNK 10-meter repeater. It's quite exciting listening to it. I actually get on 10 meters and compare the signals from what I hear on 29. It's 2964, which is VE7WNK, and it's kind of neat to listen to some of the DX stations that come through there. It's kind of neat.
They have that thing dialed right in, That VE7WNK. I listen to that, and then there's Whiskey 2 November Yankee or something like that I hear as well, and those aren't that far apart. Again, why is in Buffalo or something like that? It's somewhere in New York State, and boy, oh boy, do those things really kick when they're running. I've got a. Oh, what is it? It's an HR 2510 or something like that sitting in a box that I bought forever ago that I need to get on air because it's got FM. And I wanted to put that in my truck, and I haven't yet. With 10 meters being so open, I've got no excuse not to. But it's just all time. Everything takes so much time. Anyway, sir, I had best get upstairs and get some tidying done. I spent my day doing different types of chores, getting my snowblower all ready to blow snow and loaded up my winter tires. And as you'll see in the video, I'm still in my overalls. I probably should go and be a productive member of the household before the better half chops off my half. So anyway, 7-3, sir. Good chatting with you, and we'll hopefully get on here again and get a chance to work out our antennas again. 7-3 for now. Victor Alpha 7 Kilo Juliet. Victor Echo 7 Whiskey November Kilo. 7-3, Ken.
You betcha. You betcha. Bob, good talking to you. Oh, one thing before we go. Where may I find that audio clip on YouTube?
So what I'll do is I'm going to upload it right now. We're just about to hit the 36-minute mark of the video, so I'm going to hit stop record just as I am about to leave my seat, and I'll throw it up on YouTube. And I guess I'll email you the link. I think I have an email address for you on in my Gmail here. It was your company name, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll dig that out, and I'll spam it to you there, and it should be ready in probably an hour or so, depending on how busy the YouTube render farm is.
Well, appreciate that, Bob. Absolutely fantastic. I didn't realize that you're recording this whole time, so I'll definitely be able to critique myself for sure. I look forward to receiving it. Thanks very much for doing that. Absolutely cool. Good talking to you. We'll catch you further on down the log. VE7WNK, VA7KJ. Bye-bye.
7-3.
7-3.